Well, welcome to Let's Talk. I'm your host, Denise Rollard Barnes, publisher of the Washington Informer. And today, as we go into the holiday season, we are going to have a show that truly addresses a need that is close to all of our hearts, and that is finding homes for Black children, particularly in the DMV. Yes, we were talking about shopping and toys and Black Friday and all the other things, but Giving Tuesday and donations that we can be giving to organizations throughout the community. We're going to be talking to some of those organizations whose primary responsibility is finding good, loving homes for children in the DMV. But before we get started, a quick reminder, please visit our website at washingtoninformer.com. We have to do our own little self plug here. We invite you to join the Washington Informer family by becoming a subscriber. You'll see a subscribe button. We want you to click onto that. And all we are asking for is your email address. There's no money, no credit cards, no nothing, just an email address. And we'd love for you to become a subscriber, where you will receive access to our exclusive daily and complimentary e-newsletter, Win Daily, that will keep you informed of the news you can use every day. Also, remember to pick up a copy of this week's print edition of the Washington Informer. And I will show that to you because, as you all know, I want folks to know that we're still printing. Yes, we're still printing a newspaper. So people often ask, are you all still printing? Yes, we're still printing until we can't. We distribute newspapers across the region, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So feel free to pick up a copy, or you can read the digital edition online, which was just shown to you at washingtoninformer.com. Now, while tuning into the show today, we ask you to spread the word and share this broadcast on your social media platforms. We want you to follow us on Facebook, IG, Instagram, LinkedIn, or any other social channels you use, because we are there. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Washington Informer TV, where you can watch many of the Let's Talk or Win TV live episodes that you may have missed. So today we're focusing on the critical need to find homes for Black children in the DMV. I want to share a snapshot that will show you how critical the need is in the United States and right here in our own backyards, or better yet, our front yards. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, they recently reported that 1.2 million children in the United States between 2021 and 22 school year were either literally homeless, shelter or unsheltered, or experiencing doubled up housing, meaning housing where they're with friends or family, but the folks in the home, it's beyond capacity. Covenant House has reported that each year an estimated 4.2 million people, teens and young adults, experience some form of homelessness in the United States. And Schoolhouse Connection has reported that the youngest children were also affected, reporting that nearly 450,000 infants and toddlers between the ages of 0 and 3 years old experienced homelessness in 2022 and 2023. Now let's look at Washington, D.C. In D.C., about 10,000, mostly Black and brown youth each year face housing insecurity or homelessness. Yet in 2024, only 2,678 youth were served by the city's youth homelessness systems, roughly only 25% of the real need. And listen to this. On a given night in DC, there are approximately 1,356 adults and children in 440 family households experiencing homelessness. So let's move on. While these numbers matter, is what we're going to be talking about today. Homelessness doesn't just mean lack of stable housing. For children, it often means disrupted schooling, trauma, developmental delays, increased risk of being placed in foster care or needing adoptive permanency. And the structural drivers, of course, are affordable housing, shortages, economic stress on families, systemic inequities, meaning race, income, family structure, and we find that those inequities are increasing, and they all contribute to housing instability and therefore are a risk for our children. Today, our guests will share the work they are doing and the resources they provide to support our children. We'll hear from Lisa Dominguez, CEO of Path for Families, a nonprofit dedicated to advancing adoption and well-being. And Lisa will share how uh, Path for Families, the organization, guides families through the adoption and foster care process. And we're also going to talk to folks from, and I meant to ask them how to pronounce it, but I think it's Vangra Akoma Ntosa, or what they call Fan DC, makes it a little easier, who, along with the team, will discuss the Ward 8-based organization that has changed the lives of more than 1,000 teens in foster care and those affected by the welfare system. We're honored to have Dr. Shannon Wilson, Director of Practice Management, and Ashley Garcia Rivera, Policy Director at the Center for Adoption Support and Education, otherwise known as CASE. We're going to show how CASE works across every level of the permanence ecosystem to ensure families stay together and thrive. And then we'll talk to Akiana Florentine, Director of Foster Care Recruitment, Retention, and Training at the National Center for Children and Families, an organization dedicated to empower communities to care for the less fortunate by transforming and improving their quality of life. And last, but certainly not least, we will welcome attorney Marissa Terrell, who'll discuss her website and chatbot focused on high school teens that helps them to make wise decisions. We've got a lot to talk about, folks, and we hope that you'll stay with us throughout the program. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Our first segment shines a spotlight on Path for Families and the important ways they guide loving, stable adoptions and foster care for children in the DMV. We have a video.
My dream was to create a place where the long-term needs of adoption would be catered to. My dream was to start a full-service mental health center relating to the needs of growing families.
Wow, would have loved to have seen that whole video, Lisa, but you're here to tell us about Paths for Families. You're the CEO, and welcome to Let's Talk.
Thank you so much for having me, Denise. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, likewise. I want to ask you first, tell us a little bit about Paths for Families and your role.
Sure. So I'm the CEO of Paths for Families. I've been in my role for about a year and a half. And you heard the voice of our founder, Janice Goldwater, who started Paths for Families, what was then called Adoptions Together 35 years ago. We're celebrating our 35th year. And I had the honor of stepping into the role of CEO when Janice retired last year. But my career has been as a social worker and as a therapist, exclusively in kind of the foster care and adoption space for about 15 years of my 30 plus year career, and feel so fortunate to really continue to build on Janice's legacy.
Fantastic. This time of year, I mean, we're thinking about, the happy season, right? Mm-hmm. When everything and children are getting excited about holidays, but we know that there are so many that aren't. And so, what inspired you to become a part of Paths for Families and why the program was even launched?
Sure. So I think when folks think of adoption, they often think of kind of it's a happy thing, it's a wonderful thing, but we know that all adoption really starts with loss, that children only come into foster care or into adoptive homes because they need a family, and there's tremendous loss that precipitates that need. And what inspired me to do the work is really the belief and the value that family is at the core of all that we do, and family is a right and something that everyone needs and deserves, and that everyone needs a family not only just to grow up in, but to grow old in. We don't stop needing our families magically at 18, and there are far too many youth who are in foster care and age out without a permanent home. And so I think that is what really drives me, what drives the organization. And the organization was really founded to make sure that any child who needed a family had access to loving, permanent connections, and also to really ensure that anyone who wanted to be an adoptive parent had that right, regardless of their race, their sexual orientation, or their finances. So that's what drives the mission, and also what drives me personally.
I'm sure. I mean, I gave some statistics actually that I found earlier this evening. But what are the what are the bases upon which you all kind of just try to serve the community? I mean, what numbers or statistics or anything that you're looking at? And I hate to put children in these number buckets, or families in these number buckets. But I mean, what is the need like?
So we know that nationally there are over 300,000 youth who are in foster care. And of those 300,000, about 85,000 are in needs of permanent homes. And so the difference is that some of those are in care, are working towards reunification with their birth families, which is ideally what we want. When kids come into care, the goal should always be that they are able to reunify with their birth families whenever possible. So of those more than 300,000, though, unfortunately for about 85,000 of those children, that is not possible. And so those are children in foster care who are at risk of aging out of care without permanency. So that's really a staggering number if you think about it. And obviously within the DMV, the numbers are a little bit smaller, but I think what we really feel is that, even one child who ages out of care without a permanent home is one too many, that we all need the love and support of a family throughout our lives, not just up until the age of 18.
Right. And so how do you support the families? How do you
Sure.
staff for family support?
We do it a number of different ways. So we work with families locally who are interested in adopting through our foster care adoption program. And so for families who are interested in adopting an older child, or sometimes a sibling group, a child with special needs. And so we do their home studies process, we do their training, provide counseling and support to make sure that the families have the resources they need to really parent children who've experienced trauma, and to support those families kind of moving forward. We also have our Heart Gallery, which is a digital photo listing of children in the DMV who are looking for permanency. And so it's a great way to spotlight children who are looking for homes and for families. And so that's a way that we connect youth with prospective adoptive families. And then we also have I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We also have a large family finding program with Baltimore City, where we work with youth who have been really languishing in care to connect them with either their birth family, extended family, or what we call fictive kin. So folks who have maybe been in their lives and could potentially be a permanent resource, like a coach or a teacher or a pastor. So we work really, really diligently to have the kids help us identify who the folks have been in their life who are meaningful, and to either connect or reconnect them.
Yeah, I have to say I have which really kind of sparked my interest here, a very close friend that I work with, whose wife was a coach of a cheerleading team, and didn't know for some time the condition under which one of her, participants, teenage girl, was living, and found out and received permission to become foster parents, but that lasted for about 3 weeks or so. And so now they're trying to figure out, because I think the judge made a decision or something and decided to send her back, which was not really the best thing for her. But what does it take, literally for a person, a coach, a friend, as you were talking about, or anyone to become a foster parent or adoptive parent? Are the requirements, have they changed, over the years? And what does that look like?
Well, the process really looks different depending on whether you are wanting to serve solely as a foster parent, if you're interested in adopting, and it really depends on where you live and the jurisdiction where the child that you want to be a resource for lives as well. So for adoptive parents, there's a home study process that we can help facilitate. That is a number of interviews, and you need to have your home certified. And there are a number of steps that you go through with a licensed social worker to become home studied. And that's really the first step for adoptive parents. For folks who are interested in fostering, usually the best way to start that process is to connect with your local Department of Social Services, and they do the licensing and training for folks who are interested in becoming foster parents.
Wow. So if people wanted to know more about, we put it in the video, but I'm going to ask you again to find out how they could support your organization and or Paths for Families. What are some of the ways that they can either connect, get advice, get resources?
Yeah. All of our services we talk about on our website, which is www.pathsforfamilies.org. And we have contact information by email and by phone. And we're always happy to answer any questions for folks who are interested in adopting or becoming a foster resource. We don't license foster parents, but we do work with families who are interested in adopting through our foster care adoption program. So we're always happy to talk to folks, answer questions, and are always looking for folks who want to support the work that we do.
Well, I always like to ask Lisa before I end with a guess, is there some message or something you might want to communicate that I didn't ask, but that you think viewers need to know?
I think, Denise, you did such a beautiful job of framing the conversation. I think just there's such a need for families to adopt youth who are older. It's much, much harder for youth. Everyone wants a new baby and wants that experience, and we understand that as a parent. But that no child is unadoptable, that every child is adoptable, and that it's really critical for our older youth to have permanent resources, and that no child should age out of care without a family. And so to really consider what it might be like to open your heart and your home to an older youth. It's not easy. And it's so important for folks to understand the critical need for those youth to find the homes that they deserve.
Wow, thank you for that. You make me remember, that's what I was about to say a few minutes ago, Doreen Gensler, I think on Channel 4, who used to have her program every once a month.
Barbara Harrison, yeah. Well,
Sorry,
Wednesday's Child. And Melissa Millay actually now does a Finding Families segment, and she often highlights youth on our Heart Gallery. And we had one of the youth that she highlighted. A viewer saw her profile and adopted her just before her 16th birthday. So,
wow.
The power of the media, it's really a powerful thing.
Well, we certainly would like to continue to work with you to talk about some of those stories that, success stories, and all of them are successful, I would think, to a certain extent. But, young people who have really benefited from having caring homes that took them in and how that worked out for them. So maybe the next time we get together, we can do that.
Would love to come back and talk with you more, Denise. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day and have a great holiday.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. So up next is our folks from FAN DC, which is located in Ward 8, right here in Southeast DC. And FAN DC empowers teens in foster care and youth affected by the welfare system. It's my pleasure to bring on board, I'm just using for first names, and I apologize for that, but I'm bringing on Josephine, Sharniqua, and Brittany from FAN DC. Good afternoon. How are you all?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, wonderful. I'm glad we have smiling faces today because, we're talking about a very serious subject. And you all, the fact that you all are working with teens, as we just talked about when we ended that last segment, who are in foster care and youth affected by the welfare system, you've taken on a major project. I'll put it that way. So tell us, and I don't know which one should start, but tell us about FANDC. Help me to pronounce it. And tell our viewers what the organization is and what you do. Josephine?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can now.
My apologies. I'm Josephine Mazik. I'm the executive director. The pronunciation is Fihankra Akoma Intwaso, and that name means Safe Places Linked Hearts. And we're a youth-focused peer-operated center, which means that all of our team members have lived experience in either the child welfare system or in trauma-informed systems. Our whole goal is to make sure our children and families have safe, nurturing spaces where they can come, feel seen, heard, and be authentically themselves. So on any given day, it looks like organized chaos, but it also looks like a whole lot of love.
How did the three of you all come together? Brittany?
So
Okay.
good.
Or Shaniqua, either one.
Well, I've been here for 11 years. Years ago, our executive director, Bernie McGrath, passed away, unfortunately, and JoJo stepped in and she came in by storm and did what she had to do. And then, of course, down the line, Miss Britt was in a certified peer program through DBH, I believe, and we found her there and we all just connected.
And it sounds, according to Josephine, you all have had your own experiences in the foster care system. Is that correct? Or tell me about that.
Not necessarily me in the foster care system, but my son's father did grow up in the foster care system. So that actually got me into this work because I saw what he went through with his foster parents and caseworkers and all these different people. And I felt I had to do something when it came to the youth and, be an advocate and a voice so that, everything, whatever the need is, that the youth is able to get it. So I've gotten my way in through that.
And how do you all work with these young people? How do you get them, and what kinds of things do you do to support them?
We mostly get our youth. Well, of course, we will reach out to different schools and things like that. The school social worker, maybe the school therapist. We connect with them and see what kids may have a need. But now it's kind of different these days because now we're like word of mouth through our youth. So we'll have one kid at a school, and the next thing you know, a bunch of kids are walking through the door, and that the kid who's already enrolled with us will say, my friend's here and they need an enrollment form. And so we literally get our youth now through word of mouth.
And enrollment,
kind of.
Yeah. I'm in Ward 8. I'm probably not far from where you all are. And, so I anybody that's driving through or walking the streets in this community knows that a program like yours is probably a really safe haven for them to come and get support. And so once they walk through that door, what happens?
So once they walk through the door, they immediately get greeted, and when they come in, they immediately get greeted, get snacked, come in and do whatever activities. Sometimes when they first come in, they might be like a little reserved, but by that next day, they feel so comfortable. It's like they've been here for like all their life. Like they start taking off their shoes, they start laying on the couch, they start going in the refrigerator, just grabbing stuff. So because with our name, Fihankra Akoma Intwaso, we create that safe space so they can come in and be themselves. Because not a lot of people, especially with teens, with a lot of grown-ups and adults, they'll be like, oh, you have to listen to me. You got to do this. You got to do that. Here, we're not necessarily like that. It's like the kids can come here, let their hair down, and then just chill, but still learn certain things, social emotional learning, cooking demonstrations, STEM, but still have them be themselves. Even when they don't have a place to go, they're here. Like if they got suspended from school, they're at FAN, which is crazy.
Yeah.
One of
So
the
go ahead.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
gonna I was gonna say one of the most important things I think that we do for them is that we actually listen. And so throughout the space, youth voice is from the top to the bottom down. So we have participants on our board. We have them design with us the activities that they want to do. They even help recreate, like create the space and the environment that they want to see on a daily basis.
Where are you all located?
So we're located on 2815 Stanton Road. We're right between DC Prep and KIP. So we're right in the middle.
Okay.
And yeah, but just to go back to what JoJo was saying, our kids, because we are a peer operator center, the kids actually do run programming. So we'll tell them, hey, this is what's going on. And then we'll have like one leader and they'll come and actually run programming. So we do like word of the day. They'll go through that. And it's funny to see that because like it's different from different other after school programs because we actually let the kids lead.
So this is an after school program.
And a summer program as well.
In summer, because that's what I was going to ask. What happens in the summertime? And are these we talked about foster care and welfare affected by the welfare system, but when they come in the door, I assume that you're not asking them those questions. You're just, or are you? How? What's the criteria for being a part of FAN DC?
So we get that information directly off of the enrollment forms.
Okay.
Because of where we are in Ward 8, we feel like everyone is a phone call away. So those mitigating circumstances allow our participants to be a phone call away from being directly in care. Currently, there are 543 youth participants in DC's child foster care program, but there are 1,413 children being serviced by Child and Family Services in the home. And so we make sure that we kind of bridge that gap between all of those areas and that we are reaching those participants. One of the things that we do, especially in the summertime, is when Child and Family Services takes a child into care and they need a summer home for them. It doesn't matter where we are within the program. We can have 2 weeks left. We'll take that participant and they'll become a part of our core group of participants.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And you all recently received a grant from AmeriHealth Caritas. Tell us, what the grant will support.
That was such a huge win for us because we've been working really hard to try to get in-house therapists. Right now, it's a lot of us using our lived experiences and having those conversations to relate to our children, but we know that they need some additional supports. And so with those funds, we'll be able to bring in therapists on site for those participants that need additional support, and they'll be able to lead some group sessions and also some individual sessions that we'll be able to fund ourselves without them having to feel the stigma of going through the formalized system.
Hmm. I'm curious because if for some of the young people, I'm wondering some of the things that you all may have encountered. I mean, do you actually end up talking to young people who are experiencing homelessness or as we talked about, sort of those couch, I forgot the term I used, but kids that have to, move into other people's homes and live on couches or what have you, and how do you support them?
And the term for that is called doubled up.
Right.
And we are just there, like we're that constant space, and we also help them work through or navigate those systems. And so Brittany can talk a little bit more about what the direct link to resources would look like for her.
Brittany?
So if they are like sleeping on couches or anything, we do refer like the kids to like Sasha Bruce, different organizations, Covenant, House, and other organizations that's out in the open. We'll call and pretty much do like a warm hand toss, like, hey, I'm from this organization. We have a kid here that's going through this, going through that, and then we give a warm hand toss to them. And then, we keep up with them, making sure that they're doing whatever that they need to do to make sure that they are housed or in the shelter and things like that.
And we also provide transportation for those services also. So if our participant comes to us saying I have to move all my stuff out of this place and I have to get to this shelter, thank God we have a 15 passenger van, so that allows us to help them gather their things and we run them on up wherever they need to go.
My heart goes out to you all, ladies, because this is some tough work, but some, very heartfelt work that you're doing for kids in our community. And, a lot of times grown folks will walk by and look at young folks hanging out, but they don't really know their story. They don't know why, and what,
A lot of stories.
what home is like, or if there even is a home. And so, I really appreciate all of your efforts. I mean, how can people be supportive of what you all are doing?
Well, I would like to start by saying our youth is hosting their own care pack drive right now. So we are trying to get donations for our youth participants. They're also reaching out to different organizations to get donations of toiletry items and small snacks and things. And we're a peer operated center. So this is a a youth led activity. And we, incorporated it into our program so that the kids can understand what community is, what unity is, and why we serve and do what we do. They see what we do for them, so now it's time for them to give back and do for others. So they've been collecting items for the past 2 months. So you also, if you guys like, 2815 between 12 and 6 p.m., drop off some toiletry items if you like. We also, go ahead, Britt.
But we're also doing a big drop off, which is also to our holiday party, which is December 13th, Saturday, December the 13th. If you're able to drop off toothpaste, toothbrushes, socks, deodorant, and then maybe come in and it'll be to
Yeah, we had some connectivity problems there for a minute, but we do have the flyer up right now. And so we're going to share that again and let folks know that while they're out, hopefully doing some very conscious Black Friday shopping. We want to promote conscious shopping. And this is one of the things that folks can do while they're out and then come by and donate. You're not asking for a lot, and you're asking for basics. And I really, really appreciate that. Go ahead.
And I would also say, make sure you go to our website at www.fan-dc.org. There's an info section for you to give your information. We also would appreciate donations to the organization itself, and that could be with time, talent, or treasure. We are a very small team, and we're lots of different hats. So if there are any skills that you want to donate to contribute, we would also appreciate that.
Well, I thank you all for coming on. Again, my question to you all as well, is there anything that I didn't ask that you want to share with our viewers about the work, the young people, or repeat the donation? It's up to you.
I think the thing that I would leave you with is most young people are looking for a friend. The narrative about our young kids in the DMV area right now is not great, and we are here to tell you that our kids are phenomenal. They want to be supported. They have a lot of brilliant ideas, and just take the time to listen. Ask them how they're doing today.
Wonderful. I treat that as opposed to, well, no offense, I'm getting political now, but curfews and National Guard and police and all that, as folks keep saying, that's not, it's a band aid, but it's not the cure. And so it sounds like Fan DC is working and spreading love and support for young people. So I appreciate that. So I wish you all ladies, a happy holiday. Josephine, looks like you're headed out someplace. You're at the airport.
Yes, yes, I am. I
Okay.
am getting
All
in a quick pre-holiday vacation.
Wonderful. Well, safe travels, and hopefully we'll see you soon. But know that anything you all might want to might do in the future, if we could bring some of your young folks on, we certainly would like to hear their voices. Like someone
Okay.
said, we rarely hear their.
Mhm.
So let's talk about that.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
I agree. We should do that. They would love that.
All right, great. We're gonna make that happen. Ladies, have a great day, and thanks so much for joining us here on Let's Talk.
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
All right, thanks for the
Thank
work.
you.
All righty. So we're not stopping there because we still have more folks to talk about the work that they're doing to really support our young people who have a great need. And anybody that's out there that's talking about what they ought to be doing or what somebody ought to be doing, I think that they are the folks that need to support these organizations, including now our next guest, Dr. Shannon Wilson. Well, I'm calling her doctor, like I get called doctor. But anyway, Shannon Wilson, Director of Practice Management at the Center for Adoption Support and Education. And is Ashley with us as well? Ashley Garcia Rivera, who's the policy director. Thank you all so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
So I have mentioned a word, which is permanence. And so I want you to talk a little bit about your organization, but help define that word, permanence.
Sure. Well, good afternoon. Thanks again for having us. I am not a doctor, although I appreciate that that honor. So yes, I am with CASE, as is Ashley. CASE is the Center for Adoption Support and Education. We are a national leader in transforming the mental health of adoptive, foster, and kinship families. So everything we do is grounded in helping families stay together, and that really is what that term permanence means, right? It's finding permanent homes for children in need. And then, as our earlier guests talked about, not only until they're 18, but throughout the lifetime. So our organization's entire focus is on supporting that concept of permanence, and it speaks to why this work is essential.
Yeah, I like the fact that there is some focus on trying to keep families together,
Yes,
as much as possible, because there have been a lot of critics of the foster care system and others where children are so easily taken away and then separated from their families, which creates. Well, talk about that, Ashley. What does happen when children sort of lose contact with their families?
Actually, I love that you asked me that question. I don't know if you know, but I'm a person of lived experience myself. I experienced foster care and I got adopted, actually on National Adoption Day. So I'm really excited, especially as a DC resident, that we're celebrating that tomorrow. Permanency, honestly, and I know Shannon answered this a bit, but I'll answer it in my own terms. It's really finding that support system even after finalization with adoption, or even if you're trying to reconnect with your birth family. It's very important to understand that there are certain needs that these folks need, and who is there to really help them need to be also trained on those types of needs. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But personally, I've gone through a lot of challenges myself, and permanency continues on in my life. I need constant support regardless of my adoption story.
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking, Ashley, when you were adopted?
Yeah, I was 14 years old.
Oh, okay. Well, that's sort of a positive story, going back to the theme that we keep hearing throughout the program, that, everybody wants that little, bouncing baby, but teenagers are harder sometimes to place, and but you were a success story. I
Yes.
think you were.
Yeah, for sure. It's considered a success story. And that's why I really wanted to go back into the work, because when I was younger, I would hear, hey, it's going to be difficult for you to get adopted. And, it kind of, hit me a little hard. Like, wait a minute, there's other folks, other young teens that are still looking for that support system and they're not receiving it. So it's really what gave me the passion to come back into this space.
I'm just curious. I don't know who can answer this, and it's probably you still, Ashley, but waiting to be adopted. So where were you in the interim? I mean, what were you in a foster care situation? Were you in a group home, and if I'm getting too personal, just let me know. But I'm just curious about, the loss of a family and the transition to a new family. What happens in that gap?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these are questions that are always come across my way.
Right.
So I was never placed in a group home. I did bounce around to foster homes. I won't get into how many numbers, but pretty high. And my goal was always to find an adopted family because I knew the risk that I would face if I aged out, that being mental health. And that's why CASE is dear to my heart. And I really value our mission. Having that adoption competency support is really important because, as I mentioned, yeah, it's a success story. But then again, my adopted mother still didn't have the skills and tools to support me mentally through my entire journey. So again, that's the reason why we're here today. Like, I really want to emphasize on how important mental health is.
Yeah, I would think so. And Shannon, again, I want you to weigh in on some of this. I mean, tell us how CASE actually, is supporting, young people themselves, who you collaborate with. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. And thank you, Ashley, for sharing some of your personal story. Yes. So CASE exists exactly for the reasons that Ashley just outlined and more, right? And how we serve is through 3 key pillars. We work across the entire permanence ecosystem. So at one level, we focus on direct services. So that's our adoption competent mental health therapy for families, children, teenagers, and adult adoptees as well. And with adoption competent mental health therapy, we really focus on equipping skills and education so that families can understand not only how to stay together, but how to thrive, right? So that is one component. Direct services also includes our case management services, and case management equips families with resources to supplement the mental health therapy that they receive at CASE. The second way that we serve is through training. So we are a national leader in training the workforce, which includes mental health professionals, child welfare workers, school professionals. Our vision is that everyone who touches children and families has some level of adoption competency. So we offer specialized online trainings, in-person trainings, et cetera, so that nationally, even if you don't live in the DMV, you have access to adoption competent professionals. And then the third area that we focus on is systems advocacy. And that's really where Ashley works, and she can speak more to it. But on that level, we work through policy leadership and we work with national partners to advance this work on a systemic level so that we are serving not only direct families, but also systems.
Sadly, I'm hearing more and more in media organizations about how children in America really right now, it's almost, like front and center, have not been a priority. And that, we need to really focus on that if we're talking about the future of this country. Yeah. And with all the work that you all do, I mean, are you feeding an army or are you feeding just a small troop? I mean, how are there enough people in this space to provide the support that families need, or the work that CASE does?
That's actually a great question, which I was going to get into. So Shannon mentioned we train professionals to understand the adoption competency support system, and we lack of trained providers right now. There is a huge amount of clinicians that are not trained behind this, and the fact is that there's very much siloed systems currently, And that alone creates more barriers on the youth or even children, families, anybody that's involved in child welfare itself. So at CASE, we try to, at the national level, really promote that. And that's part of my job. It's understanding the need of this type of training in order to help these families to be successful.
Wow. And are you seeing an impact? I mean, you all have been in this for a little while, not a long, I don't see a lot of gray hair, so it's not a long time, I would think. But are you seeing growth? Or are you seeing results?
Little here by there, yes. There's been quite few momentum in it. I started at CASE 3 years ago, and I've already seen some proof and growth into it. So I would say yes. But Shannon, you've been here also a little while too. So I don't know your perspective on it.
Sure. Well, in the DMV alone, we've been able to serve over 9,000 families.
Wow.
9,000 families through our direct services alone. So that's pretty huge. We don't have an enormous staff. We have a powerful staff, but to serve that many is meaningful work. And then we've trained, again, thousands of countless workers across the country. Most recently, last weekend, we held an event called CAN, which is our Kids Adoption Network Conference. And it's an all-day program for both children and their parents. They're separated throughout the day. And it was such a powerful experience. At the end, the kids talked about how well connected they felt to other people who had similar experiences as them, how they didn't feel othered, they felt seen, they felt heard. The parents learned a lot as well. And then at the end, we have a big carnival to celebrate. We try to make it a fun day. So whether it's a one-day local event like CAN, which was held in Potomac, Maryland, or the thousands of folks that we touch on a national level, we are absolutely making an impact.
Wow. So how can people, I mean, is there opportunity for people who want to volunteer or support what or just to support CASE? What are the what's available to them?
Yeah, so we definitely have opportunities. I would say for volunteers, different types of events that we host. We would love to have volunteers for that. And I guess I can share where you guys can contact us in this moment.
Yes,
so
please.
Whether you're a parent, professional, policymaker, someone just impacted by adoption support or adoption, foster care, or kinship care, CASE is here for you. So to learn more about us, you can go on adoptionsupport.org or follow us on all the major social media handles called CASE Adopt.
Wonderful. And lastly, you've heard me ask this question earlier, is there anything that I didn't ask that you would really want our viewers to know?
Yes, I just want to touch on adoption competency for a little bit as a model. What we hear from families time and time again is that regular therapists just don't get it. They miss the mark. I'm a mental health clinician myself, so I don't say that with any malintent, but the reality is the needs of these families are very nuanced and complex, right? And many therapists who are not adoption competent trained, they miss it, right? And so we've heard families say, my therapist or other professional said to return my child to the foster care system, or they try to treat our family like they would any other family. And we know that that just does not work. So our team at CASE, we have specialized training. We really get it, right? We understand the layers of grief and loss and the complexities with identity formation and attachment and trauma. And we really interweave all of those concepts into our clinical services and our case management, our trainings, our systems advocacy. So I just want to put out there that we get it. We hear you, we see you. If you're a family out there in the adoption, foster care, or kinship space, you're not alone. We're here to navigate the journey with you, and we're ready to serve.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm so glad that I asked, and I'm glad that you're able to get that in, because I'm sure that there are folks who would love to have.
I lost your audio, Denise.
They're doing things over here that I'm not doing. So
no worries, you're back.
Yeah. So I was just saying thank you all so much for being with us and for sharing. And we hope that you get the support that you need so that the families will have the support that they need. So again, thanks again for being with us, and I wish you well.
Thank you.
All righty. So, I'm just excited. I still am. But now we're going to hear from the National Center for Children and Families, who talk about, are going to share things about fostering strong communities and the special holiday celebration for youth and families that they're going to have. So Akiana, and I'll have to ask Akiana the correct pronunciation of her last name, Florentin. She's the Director of Foster Care Recruitment, Retention, and Training at the National Center for Children and Families. But we're going to watch this quick video and then we'll be speaking to her.
Have you ever thought about being a foster parent? By becoming a foster parent, you can provide love, trust, hope, and a stable home for children who have been separated from their families due to neglect and abuse. Every child deserves a safe space to grow, dream, and learn. Becoming a foster parent is a rewarding way to change the course of a child's life. NCCF's mission is to create a healthy environment for all vulnerable children and youth. Join the mission and start your journey today. Call or text the National Center for Children and Families at 657-522-0770 or visit us at nccf-cares.org/fostercare to find out more.
Good afternoon, Akiana Florentin. How are you?
Good afternoon. Hi, Denise.
Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, you're doing perfect. Akiana Florentin, that's it.
Good, wonderful. And so you're the Director of Foster Care Recruitment and Retention and Training at the National Center for Children and Families. Talk about NCCF first and give us a little background about the work that you all do there.
Yeah, NCCF is a private nonprofit. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We provide several different services in the district and in Maryland. Foster care is not all we do, although we are highlighting foster care and adoption this month. We are the leaders in what we do in the area. We are very proud of that. Our staff is very dedicated to ensuring that we provide vulnerable families with all the supports that they need, whether it's housing, support through education, foster care. We do quite a lot.
It sounds, and so how did you get involved?
With NCCF?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I am not a DMV resident. I am from Cambridge, Massachusetts. So I was working for the child welfare system in Massachusetts. I have been, whether it's ongoing case management or investigator and part of their after-hour emergency services for child welfare for quite a while. Then when I moved to the DMV, I found NCCF and it's a perfect fit. I am on the other end. So before I worked directly with the birth families, going to their homes, doing visits, and now I get to support the foster families after those youth come into the system and make sure that they have all they need, whether it's training or support, so that they provide a trauma-focused or trauma-informed care when they're in the home.
Akiana, it's kind of hard when we are doing sort of these interviews and they're 10 minutes or so. And, we really want to get to the gut of the issue out there. And there's so many young people who, need homes, need foster care providers. And I'm trying to get from you maybe, what is it that, has caused you to take this path? I mean, not that I need to get into your personal business, but when you see these children or these families that need help, I mean, what is it that I don't know, makes your heart go out and to do this kind of work?
Right. No, that's a good question. I think for those who work in the child welfare system, it takes a toll on us. There are separating a child from their family is very difficult. So in that sense, joining or becoming a social worker for child protection, a lot of people will tell you not to do it. Like I remember when I was going to school, I went to Delaware State University, and a lot of the times people say, oh, why'd you do social work? Like you're going to take away kids from their families. What drives me is my drive to ensure that I support children. And wherever children are, I want to support them. So I've done family shelters to ensure children have stability. I've done mental health with families to ensure children have the mental health services they need. So wherever the need is that involves youth and children, that's what drives me. I'm a huge family person. My family will tell you. So I'm like the professional aunt of the family. I want to make sure that there's some type of stability and happiness in all children. So that's kind of what drives me to do the role that I do now.
And we've talked a little bit about, the trauma that happens with children and families. Also, when it comes to, education, other areas of a child's life, that sort of get, just thrown out of whack because of this instability. Have you seen where or how, your work has really helped to, as I talked to Ashley earlier about successes, where your involvement or NCCF's involvement has really sort of made a difference in the lives of children and families?
Yeah. When new foster parents join NCCF, they also go through training to become licensed, and they have continued training throughout the year. And all of that training focuses on how to support, most of the training focuses on how to support the needs of the child, to create as much as we can some type of stable environment where all their needs are met. And NCCF does a great job in providing wraparound services for youth when they come into our care. So whether it's the clinical team providing case management, or whether it's my training team ensuring that our foster parents are trained in trauma and how to respond to a youth who's experienced trauma, we have several different teams, all hands on deck when it comes to ensuring the stability of a child and youth. I think what's difficult is, Case hit on it earlier, youth do bounce from home to home. And at NCCF, we thrive on getting foster parents who are committed and not quitting or creating more trauma to the child through their own traumas. We want to bring on people who are not only committed, who know that there will be hard days, but there will be good days too. And I think NCCF does a great job in stabilizing our youth to make sure our staff and our foster parents are well informed and ready for the long run.
I'm on there too. I should have asked one of our former guests this, but for children who are in the foster care system or have been adopted, is there a stigma related to that where, particularly in school and places like that, when parents ask, school teachers or whomever ask about parents, these are now their parents, but is there any kind of, emotional reaction to that kind of question?
Yeah, I would say nationally, we see a stigma for youth who are in foster care. That is something that we're always going to see. And a lot of the stigma when youth come into care and they are struggling with being separated from their families, or they are struggling with their emotions, their behaviors due to the trauma that they've experienced, sometimes that displays as challenging for other people, for people who work in the school system or the community. And a lot of the times those children are stigmatized to be a problem. And as adults, we can do better with identifying or educating ourselves about the support these youth need, who have probably seen things and experienced things that a lot of us have not. At NCCF, one of my foster parents actually the other day mentioned that when a youth comes to her home, she ensures to ask, what do you want me to call you and what do you want to call me? And at the school, she does not introduce herself as I'm the foster parent, or which they may know, right? Because they communicate with our teams, which they may know, so that when they're at school or soccer or basketball, they're not advertising themselves as the child's foster parent to try to preserve this idea of family and to prevent stigma in the community. We want our youth to feel a part of the home that they join. Even though our focus is communication, we still want them to feel a part of the family. And labeling them, just putting a label like foster child when they go in the community is not what we do. And I'm proud that our foster parent did share that the other day, and many I know have similar approaches, whether they're called aunt or mommy and then their name, whatever it is, that they create that safe space with that youth so that they're not stigmatized in the community.
Yeah, good. I'm glad to hear that, there's a way to navigate that relationship. I know that you all are planning a holiday celebration. I want to kind of lift the spirits a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about that. What's the goal for this, and when and where and what?
Yes, I live for our holiday party because I feel like Santa Claus when I do the holiday party and the kids get so happy. So we have our annual foster care and adoption holiday party on December 13th. It is a party that all of our youth are invited to. So right now we have approximately 242 children and youth in care with NCCF. And so all of those youth and the families that they live with, the families that are caring for them, are invited to this party. We are in need of donations. So usually we have activities and a photo booth, and we have a DJ. That's the best part. Our kids love to dance. We have a DJ, and on that day, all youth in care get their gifts from the agency. So we are in need of donations for all youth who are 0 to 21 years old. We have a higher need for gifts for youth that are 16 to 21. A lot of the times we get gift cards or small gifts for them. So sometimes they feel left out. So if you have like great ideas on gifts to donate for the youth who are ages 16 to 21, we will also take that. I think everyone always thinks about babies and the 4-year-olds, and our older youth also need gifts. You can donate by calling any of the numbers on the flyer. You can do the QR code or call us directly, and we will coordinate. If you have large donations, we will coordinate pickup. You can also use the drop-off address and the mailing address there to send it to us directly.
So when do you need this?
I would love for all gifts to be in by December 11th. I know it's crunch time, so the holiday season is approaching. We will love for all the donations to be in by December 11th so we can sort through them and organize them by age. And that way we can also see what we need if we do not meet the goal from ensuring that every child has a gift.
Well, I keep saying Black Friday's coming. And I know folks are going to do, our viewers are going to do what I call conscious shopping.
Conscious shopping.
And so if they go out and do that conscious shopping, they will find something to give, some things maybe even to give. Now, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, other than clothes, I'm not quite sure what.
Yeah, they're a tough crowd. They like what they like, right? So I don't know, headphones or everyone likes cell phone accessories, I'm assuming, gaming accessories. You can also give us ideas. I don't have all the ideas, but I know that they're a tough crowd, but we want to make sure that we provide them something that shows that people thought of them. They thought of their age, they thought that they were in care, and that they can use throughout the year and enjoy it.
Well, it could be a thing where if a household has a teenager, support the teenager to go out and buy a gift for another teenager. I mean, just what did it say? Pay it forward.
Yep, pay it forward. That's a perfect family activity.
Yeah. So, well, I'm glad that you were able to come and talk with us today and tell us a little bit about NCCF and what you all are doing and how the impact that you're having on children and families in the foster care system. We appreciate your hard work, and we hope that our viewers will support your holiday program and support the program throughout the year. This problem or this issue is not going to go away, sadly, but hopefully we can see the numbers reduced with the more support for families that need it to make sure that children can stay in in safe and loving homes. So I appreciate you being with us, Akiana. Is there anything else that you want to say before we close?
Yeah, I would say a lot of our new foster parents that come to us, they share that they have sat on the idea of reaching out for months before they reached out, or a year before they reached out. They've considered fostering. And I want to say, do not doubt yourself. No question is too small. We can walk you through the process. We can speak to you over the phone. We have a very personalized recruitment process. It's what makes us stand out from other agencies. Give us a call, be matched with a recruiter. We will answer your calls. I do not want you sitting on the idea, because you may qualify. And when you do that, you can provide support to a youth who's in need. And our youth come from the district and Maryland. So reach out, give us a call, ask your question. We'll provide you with the information so that you can make an informed decision on how to support a youth in foster care.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Way to end the show. We appreciate you, appreciate your time, and thank you for being with us today.
You're welcome.
All righty. Have a good one.
You too.
Okay. So we are winding down. And I am really, again, I'm so excited for all of our guests, because I'm hoping that those of you all who are watching are seeing, one, understanding the need that our children have in our community. And I'm talking about our children. And then taking a look at those organizations that also could use your support, even if you can't or don't feel you're the person to adopt or to become a foster parent. Hopefully there's some resources out there that you can share. And as I say, during the holidays, think about these organizations. But we're going to turn to a different kind of conversation focused on empowering teen girls through technology. And I'm very, very excited to have attorney Marissa Terrell, who has created a chatbot designed to help teenage girls navigate decisions with wisdom and safety. Thank you for joining us, Attorney Terrell. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
So tell us, I've had a chance to see some of the work you've been doing, but give us some background on Aunt T? And the program you're doing. Give us some background on that, and we hope that we can see some of what it looks like.
Okay. So I have been in the space of working with girls for a while. My mom founded the High Tea Society back in 1997. And basically, we are an in-person program for girls. We pick them up typically in the 5th grade. We stay with them through high school. And over time, we end up, sort of interfacing with the entire family. It's a very time-intensive financial sort of program obligations, because you end up really adopting an entire family, which makes it great. Back in around the time of COVID, though, we decided to pivot just a little bit. We wanted to develop some digital tools that we thought could also help us as we sort of work through in-person programming. And that's when Ask Your Auntie was born.
Yeah, we had hoped to show folks what this looks like, but we'll tell them where the website is. I've been on, I know that you're using AI, I think, or some other tools. So tell us a little bit more about Ask Your Auntie.
Okay, so it really kind of started out as when I was growing up with my mom, Judge Mary Terrell. Okay, super busy person. I spent most of my time sitting under the table trying to listen to her and her girlfriends. This is where I learned a lot of my life skills and just interesting information. I think that's really helped me. We noticed that now, though, with our girls, a lot of the generations are compressed. They're like stacking up, so that girls are not really getting the benefit of hearing grandma's advice and an older mom's advice, and like siblings and aunties all sitting around. And we thought,
Hey, sugar.
There she is.
We got it in there. So let's listen to this for a second, and then I'll come back. But go ahead.
Hey, sugar. I took the Chinatown bus from D.C. to NYC to hear Mayor Zoran's speech. He said he's a democratic socialist, and I was like, okay, but what does that mean? Well, it's about giving everybody a fair shot. Jobs, healthcare, education, without losing your freedom. Want to know more? Check out Bernie Sanders' Guide to Political Revolution. It's a 10-minute read, I promise.
So tell us about that, Marissa. Who was that, and what was that, and then I want you to continue your conversation about the compression and girls not being able to connect with older women.
Right. So what we wanted to do is to try to develop a tool. We know that if you want to know what our girls are thinking about and what they're working on and what sort of motivates them, you've got to get inside their phones. And so we developed this character. Her name is Simi. She is Simulation One, and she basically is sort of reiterating information that our aunties and uncles have shared through our interviews with them, so that we can begin to sort of communicate some information directly to a teen audience. And that is what we're trying to do. So in addition to the short videos that you will find at Ask Your Auntie on Instagram and TikTok, you can also go to our website and see our chatbot, which is a place where we have placed all of the interviews that we've done with aunties and uncles in the DMV into this chatbot so that a teen can search 24/7 and hear not just internet sort of garbage or trash information, but information that's been vetted from folks that we trust.
So for example, give me an example of something that, a young girl might go to look for, questions she may have, or responses that you have on the site.
Right. Okay. So we're getting all of our questions from teen girls. And so one of the questions that came up was, should I date a drug dealer? Okay. We had a bunch of different aunties that came on our podcast that shared absolutely not. And they gave specific factual scenarios of what happened to them and their girlfriends of why this is not a good idea. One shared that, one of her girlfriends who was at Hampton got shot sitting next in the car of somebody who was a drug dealer. This was her boyfriend. What we were trying to tell our teens, more than just saying no, we want them to be exposed to the real story, because we know that Hollywood and social media does not paint the consequences or even two steps past the decision. This is all about building up resilience and teaching our girls critical thinking and situational awareness.
Wow. And what about, there's our young girls are very, I guess all women are, but, so focused on image, self-image. And do you get into those because, of course, you've always been sort of the fashionista. I mean, that's part of your, in addition to being an attorney, you've done that as well. But body image is really important to young girls. Are there topics that deal with that?
Yes, we've had a lot of questions about confidence. We get a lot of questions about confidence. We get questions about, why do boys or men always try to police women's bodies? Should I date an older guy? All of these sort of self-esteem issues, sometimes colorism, et cetera. I think the best way to answer those questions, though, is to provide background. You need to understand different perspectives from different people. And from that place, you can make your own decisions. But when all of your data coming into your mind is tainted, how can you make a good decision? If you're not reading original sources, how do you make a good decision when everybody is simply regurgitating information? So this interface and what we're trying to build is a different way of sort of training kids on ethics and teaching responsibility. We know that stories work because we see that Hollywood and hip hop, et cetera, has a real impact on our kids and their behavior. They're looking for ways and folks to model, right? And we want to let them know Beyonce is not the only way you can make money in America. You do not have to always be an entertainer. There's so many lots of different things that you can do and be, but you first have to be exposed to that. And this is our way of doing it.
And so the aunties and the uncles,
yes,
talk about them.
Okay, so the aunties and the uncles basically are folks living predominantly in the DMV area. They come on our podcast, which we record once a week at the Office of Cable Television, Film and Entertainment Office. And that's where we get the information. We provide the questions from teen girls that we've collected, and they provide the information. And the information is coming from their high school years, because we know that high school is a time where your choices have consequences, and sometimes they can derail you to a point where it's going to take you longer to get back to basics. And we're trying to show our girls that trial and error is not the only way to live. Okay, you can see what Auntie Denise did, what Auntie Marisa did, what Auntie Judge Mary did, and you can say, okay, maybe I should go to India for the Peace Corps, or maybe I should put off going to law school for a year. Whatever. These are different things that can help you sort of frame your decision making.
And the uncles, are the uncles talking to the girls, or are they, because is this primarily for teen girls? So the uncles are talking to the girls as well?
Yes, it's primarily for teen girls, but really everybody can benefit from this information. We
Okay.
call our listeners, our teens, sugars. So the uncles are absolutely talking with them. They come into like, for example, Uncle Forrest was one of our most recent ones. He's a creative in DC. Maybe was one of our youngest uncles came on, and basically we provide the same thing: 5 questions from a teen, and they're talking directly to a teen girl or a sugar, a teen sugar, whoever that is.
Wow. So how long have you been working on this?
Well, it's been about, I would say almost a little over 2 years with the digital part. Oh,
Okay.
there she is. That's Simi. That's our chatbot right there.
Oh, that's Simi. Okay. All right.
So she's
Shoot.
sort of reiterated. She's kind of morphing into this her own personality on the channel. But it's been a while. I mean, I think we first started off in 2020. There was a group of interested women, 5 or 6 of us. We gathered together to write a paper on what we thought was going on with girls. It all stemmed from this statistic that was put out by the Center for Court Innovation. It was saying that Black girls are the fastest growing population entering into the juvenile justice system. And that really scared us to death, because we were like, now, wait a minute. This really has not been traditionally our issue, but something is going on. What is the shift? We know adultification, we know trauma, we know distracted parents, we know a litany of things, but typically we think it's the family. It's this breakdown, it's this of the family, it's this compression of the generations, where our girls are sort of taking on different roles and not really understanding where to draw their wisdom from, because their exposure is so limited. And so we want to try to sort of, is there a way that we can shift that? We've seen the power of media. Could we use that to change the trajectory of our girls?
So where do you want to go from here? What's in the future for Simi and her aunties and uncles?
Well, we want Simi to really become a real repository for not only intergenerational wisdom, but a place where you can go to learn your history, and where you can go to learn information about whatever subject you're struggling with. We want this to really be something that we can share across the United States, where it becomes a place where we can capture just kind of information to, I don't want to say to save us, but to help remind us about who we are, the power of our ancestors and the power of our lived experiences, and to make sure that we're not letting algorithms from social media dictate our interactions in our community. We want to create our own community, and we want to make sure that it is available to our girls 24/7 whenever they need it.
So I got a chance to see a little bit about Simi and watch her do her thing through a gathering of women, and I think everybody was excited about her and about the project. So I'm happy that you were able to carve out some time to join us to talk about the project. And how can people find out more information?
Yes, we hope that you will follow us right now. Take your phones out and please follow us at Ask Your Auntie, and we're spelling it with a TEA, AUNTEA, Ask Your Auntie on Instagram and TikTok. You can visit us at askyourauntie.com, where you can play around with Simi. And we are actually creating a in-person group dedicated to helping with building the content and working directly with teens. This is going to be a Saturday morning program that starts in December 13th. So if you know a teen sugar that wants to join us, we would love for you to contact us at hello@highteasociety.org. And if you want to donate, we love that. Text Purple Tea, one word, to 44321.
Wonderful. And last question though, you do the high tea. Are you still doing those?
The high, like just the events, the high tea.
Yeah.
We are. Our last one we did was several months ago. It was like, I think it was a celebration for my mom, who's our founder, Judge Mary Terrell.
Okay.
But we slowed down that as we were trying to build this tool up. But we are in 2026. We have 2 events coming up. They are fashion book talks. The first one will be in March, and in April we're talking to the author of a book about Ralph Lauren, and we'll be sharing information about that, because I had to get some fashion in there somewhere. These are really just events to kind of thank our aunties and uncles and volunteers for working with us, but they're citywide and they're free. fashionl.us.
Okay, so Attorney Marissa Terrell, thank you very much for being with us today, for sharing this really creative and exciting information. And I'll be checking out Simi. I might have some questions to ask Simi. So at any rate, thank you so much, and wish you much success as you move forward.
Thank you for having me.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
So I want to thank you all for tuning in to Let's Talk today. We spotlighted stories of resilience, care, and community, reminding us that when we listen, collaborate, and act, we can create safer, stronger homes for young people, children, and their families, the families who support them. We heard from Paths for Families about guiding families through adoption and post-placement support, from Fan DC about empowering teens in Ward 8 and strengthening their voices, from CASE about building a durable, permanent ecosystem, from NCCF about a beloved foster care holiday celebration. Don't forget, they're looking for you all to support these programs. And from Marissa Terrell about a thoughtful chatbot helping teens make wise decisions. So each story shows the power of partnership, from nonprofits to schools to volunteers and donors working together to expand opportunity and hope. Sherry did a good job of writing the script, you all. I'm just trying to follow it word for word, but I'm going to stop there and just say, keep watching us at Let's Talk here on WIN TV. We want to share more information. We're really excited about bringing topics that really impact our community. If you have some ideas about future programming, reach out to us at news, at washingtoninformer.com. Again, that's news@washingtoninformer.com. We are going to wish you all a happy holiday, a happy Thanksgiving. Remember, the shopping season is coming up. Giving Tuesday is coming, and Black Friday. We're going to tell you where to go on Black Friday, and that is going to be Shop Till You Drop, the Holiday Expo at Shiloh Baptist Church. We'll be talking to Juanita Busy Bee pretty soon in our show next week. But we want you to do responsible shopping, to do shopping that's really going to serve our community. And you can get a little something for yourself, but, serve the community and your loved ones. With that, I'm Denise Rollard Barnes, and that's it for Let's Talk. Have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving and safe travels.